Hello again, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani here on this Wednesday afternoon. Today, we're being joined by Jack Hermansson, who's coming off that great win over Kelvin Gastelum this past Saturday. 78 seconds. That's all it took for him to win via heel hook submission in the co-main event of last Saturday's UFC Fight Island card. First off, Jack, thank you very much for the time and congrats on the amazing win.
Thank you so much, my friend. Good to be back. Good to be back.
Yes, it's good to talk to you. Good to see your smiling face. You're always in such a good mood. I love it. I'm just curious. Am I correct in saying that was your first heel hook win of your career? You're known for your submissions. You're great on the ground, but the first time you've ever pulled it off in a fight, yes?
That is correct. And I was myself wondering, when is the first heel hook gonna come? Because that's my go-to submission in trainings. Everybody knows about that guillotine, but that's I probably submit people with a 50 heel hooks for every
Wow.
every guillotine that I pull off in training. So, but I think it's because I rarely end up on the ground, right? And when I'm on top, I don't want to sacrifice my position, so I don't go for the heel hooks. So that's why probably. So if I end up more on bottom, you're probably gonna see more heel hooks from me.
Is it also accurate to say that the heel hook is usually, not always, but usually easier to pull off earlier in the fight because the competitor isn't as sweaty, so it's easier to hold on to their leg and get a good grip?
Definitely, 100%. It's easier early in the fight.
Okay. Have there been times where you thought you were going to get it? Like, is there a fight or two where you thought you were going to get it, but you didn't because the opponent was so sweaty?
Yeah, there's been a few fights where I tried for it actually, uh, but not in the UFC though. It was
Okay.
earlier in my career, so I think this was my first attempt in the UFC, and yeah, it worked out well.
Was that something you were looking for in particular against Kelvin?
Yeah, a little bit actually, because he likes to post up on that tripod position, and that leaves his legs open for that. So we worked a bit on that in training in the camp. Yeah, so there's no fluke that is happening. It's something that I do all the time, and if I end up in that position, that's what I go for, and I'm good at it. So. I could see people were discrediting Kelvin after the fight, but they don't know that this is a huge part of my game.
So, how would you describe the past year for you? Because, of course, you were on that amazing run, and then you met Jared Cannonier in Denmark in September, and it didn't go your way. And a lot of people thought that you were going to win that fight, and so you kind of have to regroup. And then you get rebooked against Chris Weidman in May, but of course, the pandemic hits, and I understand they were trying to get you on a different card, and there was maybe some chance that you'd be able to fight in the United States. Ultimately, you get Kelvin in Abu Dhabi, and it turns out great. But the fact that you had to sit on that loss for so long, right, almost 10 months or so, what was that like for you after the great streak that you were on?
Yeah, that was a roller coaster, man. As you said, I was on a four-fight win streak before that, and everything was perfect. And then I end up losing to Cannonier. And when you lose, you want to turn that around as quick as you can, right? And it took some time. And when the Corona situation hit us, I was just like, man, I'm gonna lose this fight against Wyman. They will cancel it, right? And sure enough, they did. So when they came up with Fight Island, I got super happy, and with getting the matchup with Gastelum as well, I'm just like, well, this is turned out for something better right now. I got very energized and focused, and yeah, I'm super happy now that it all played out as well as it did. Who knows, if they didn't have Fight Island, I would have been over a year without a fight or so.
In the immediate aftermath of that fight against Cannonier, because that card was kind of built for you, right? You
Yeah.
fighting close to home and everything. How did you handle the loss? What was that like for you?
It's always tough, especially when you feel that you're closing in on your goal. And But I do have a mental coach, and we talked about it afterwards. And he said that what you're gonna do right now is that you're gonna go in training, and you're gonna pretend like this did not happen, or you can not pretend it didn't happen, but uh, you will train as you should have done in the fight. All right, you have to you will correct it, but you won't get another chance at the fight, right? So you have to correct it in training, and when feel like you have control of the situation and that you learn from it, that's when you gotta let it go and just move on. So that's what I did. I analyzed myself, what did go wrong, I learned from it, and then I was just like, this is behind me now, let's look forward.
Wow. So right after, like, you didn't even take time off?
Now, like, I probably took a little bit of time off, but not not for long.
Okay.
I can't recall right now, but I was pretty soon back in training, and obviously analyzing the fight and working on it just by myself.
Did you watch it a lot?
Yeah, I did. I watched it 100 times.
Wow. Why so many times?
Because you want to make sure that you know what was happening in there and
Okay.
what did go wrong and so on. But yeah, so now I really know what happened in there.
One thing that I appreciate about you is that you talk openly about the fact that you've worked with a mental coach and the mental side of the game, and how that's helped you go on the streak and become one of the best middleweights in the world. And so I'm wondering, just because that's a big part of who you are, going into this fight against Kelvin, what were you feeling mentally? Were you feeling a little more nervous, a little more anxious than usual because of what happened against Cannonier, and you needed this fight desperately to get back on track?
I wouldn't say more than usual, but definitely I felt it, and I always have to. Yeah, I always have to tackle that problem, with the pressure, and the pressure was there for sure. And every time I felt the nerves were getting me, I was just like, man, the only thing you can do is to focus on the performance. So I started to think about what I'm going to do in the fight, because that's the only thing I can do to affect the outcome of it. All of those other thoughts are pretty much useless.
Mm,
So I was just going back to that all the time. What are you going to do to perform, Jack? You're going to do this, that. If you are following that, you're following your preparations and trust them, then you're more likely to end up winning this fight. So
mm.
that's what I was telling myself all the time when the nerves were coming.
What was life like in Oslo, where you train, during the the height of the pandemic over there? Because I understand in Sweden nothing really shut down, right? They were
Uh,
going with the herd immunity
yeah,
theory. So what was it like in Denmark? Excuse
no
me,
way. Yeah,
in Norway.
yeah, it was much stricter here, of course. So and it paid out pretty good because now it's almost gone. So they did a great job, but it was a little bit strict. The gym closed down immediately, and so we didn't have the facility that we usually have, and we needed to work around it and did a lot of outdoor training, and we were able to find ways to work. Even it wasn't in the same manner that we usually do. And looking back to it now, I feel like we had a great camp actually. So yeah, we made it happen.
I saw a video of you training on your Instagram leading up to this fight, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looked like you were in like a hockey rink or something. Like they were
Yeah.
at. Is that where you were?
In the end of the situation, we were able to get access to a hockey rink where we could be, and with a little bit more yeah, air and distance and so on. So yeah, we got we just shoved some mats in there and some training gear, and we were very happy to have that. So that was good.
Incredible. What a scene that was. I also noticed on your Instagram after the fight that you thanked, your friends, your family, your coaches. Not a lot of people do this after a fight, and you alluded to the fact that you've been through so much over the last few months. Why did you feel the need to do that?
I feel like it's so important for me to have that support. I'm just a human that feeds on love, and when I feel that from people, and I really feel like I have so many behind my back that's supporting me and rooting for me, and it's super important. If I didn't have that support, I don't know if it would be as fun, to do this. So yeah, I have to thank them, and also as you mentioned, my team and coaches, they're putting so much time into me, that is just incredible without even thinking about it. They're always there for me at all times. So I'm super blessed and happy to have them around me. And that's also the great thing about being from a smaller place with we are quite a few guys, but not a huge team. And we are me and my coaches, we go way back, right? So we have this connection that I feel is much more than just a coach and student relationship.
I also loved after the fight, you kind of laid out the middleweight division. Usually you have someone call out their next opponent, but you decided to book the whole thing. And I liked what you said. I liked how you booked it. You essentially said Cannonier should fight the winner of Izzy versus Costa, and you fight the winner of Till versus Whittaker. Makes a lot of sense. Although I can foresee a scenario, and correct me if you feel otherwise. Darren Till wins in impressive fashion on Saturday. He'll get the winner of the belt of the title fight, and especially if it's Izzy. What do you think of that? You don't seem to like that.
Of course, that is gonna happen, right? But the good thing is that I do have Whittaker as a favorite in this fight. So,
Okay.
yeah, he's such a huge draw, Darren Till. So the UFC want that fight. They want to push him to the title there. So that's very likely to happen if Darren Till takes the victory, especially if he does it in a dominant fashion.
Right. So you think Whittaker wins? Why and how?
I believe that Whittaker has that style that Darren Till has a problem with. The blitz, the shift in tempo. He's very quick. Comes in with quick combinations. And Darren Till's he's a little bit flat-footed. He has a big opening in the middle when he fights. And you saw what Masvidal did there when he blitzed against him. And I feel like Robert Whittaker might pull something off that looks like that.
And you think Costa's going to beat Izzy?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
How?
I believe that he's just gonna go in, pour, everything he has on him, and just like a maniac, he's gonna go in there and swing. And I feel like that pressure that he's bringing and that physique and power, I think it's gonna be really hard for Izzy to handle that. Izzy likes the technical fight, and not a all-out brawl with that crazy guy Costa there. So I think that will give him some problem.
See, I agree with you, but I think it's going to be like Stipe against Verdum back in the day, where Costa is Verdum who rushes him, and Izzy just knocks him out on the back foot. I could foresee that happening as opposed to Izzy getting caught.
Yeah, I agree that that's a likely scenario. That if Izzy wins, it's probably by a knockout, and he catches him. So it's not like I'm never overly convinced in any prediction in this sport. That I probably get the wrong 50% of the times, right? It's fun and all, but you never know. And it's a hard fight to predict, but I give a small edge to Costa.
So in your world, Costa wins, he fights Cannonier, Whittaker wins, you fight him.
That would be a good scenario.
And then the winner of your fight against Whittaker gets a title shot. So you think you're one away?
Yeah, that would be perfect. But the UFC sits on the final decision, not me. So I would love that scenario, and I'm gonna do everything I can in my power to make it happen. But I do have a couple of other scenarios that's are possible as
Oh,
well.
what else? What else you got?
Well, there is very likely that if Whittaker wins the fight, they did book him with Jared before.
Mm.
So and Jared only had 2 fights in the middleweight division, just like Darren Till is gonna have now. But the
3.
difference, yeah, 3, yeah.
He had a Branch, Anderson, and you.
That's right, yeah. But as you said, Till is like there's something else there, right?
Right.
So I think that might be a possibility, and in that case, I don't know that they might give me the loser of that fight. So maybe I will fight Till in that scenario.
Well, what about this? On August 8th, Chris Weidman fights Omari Akhmedov. What if he wins? Would you consider taking that one back?
I don't know, man. If it doesn't feel like that's gonna put me any closer to the type of fight that I want. So Yeah, we'll see. There is rumors that I'm not sure if it's booked, but you have Costa and Uriah Hall in the mix as well. That's gonna, I don't know,
Romero.
Romero,
Yep.
yeah, and Uriah Hall, and I'm not sure if should Uriah Hall win that fight and steal Romero's ranking. Might be a fight to do, but yeah, I think the most likely scenario is that I will be fighting either Whittaker or Till.
Did they tell you that they're going back to Fight Island in the fall? And I mean, because you have as a European fighter, you probably have these like short, segments of the year now that you can fight. So if they go back in September, October, do you think you'll be on one of those cards?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Especially October would be perfect, actually. So I really hope that they can make that happen and that they get the right fight for me there as well. So yeah, one more this year. I really hope for that.
Was it tough to fight in the middle of the night?
Yeah, it was actually because I did manage to, you know, get a good rhythm in fight week. But when I was supposed to sleep before the fight, I could not sleep. So I was awake the whole night, and I definitely felt tired when
Oh
after a
no.
while there. So, but fortunately, it was a quick finish. If it would have been a who knows, you know, our main event and 25 minutes, it's hard to keep focus, and it might affect your performance then. So, but I think I'm gonna do a few more adjustments if I would do it again and wake up even earlier than I did.
Mm. And now that you're back home, do you have to be in like quarantine or anything, or you're allowed to do your thing?
Yeah, it's 10 days of quarantine, but the quarantine in Norway now works like that. You're allowed to go outside of your home. You're just not allowed to interact with other people. So
Oh,
I can go out in the woods and do my fishing trips and everything I want to. So that's good. So I can enjoy myself even though it's in quarantine.
okay. Well, enjoy that. I didn't know you were a fisherman.
Oh
There's
yeah,
so many. You're a big one. Are you a good one? Like, is this something that you're very into?
definitely. I would say that I'm almost as a good fisherman as I am a martial artist. So
Really?
yeah, I'm pretty good, man.
Biggest fish you ever caught?
Well, that has to be a Nordic pike on 12 and a half kilos. That's
Whoa.
my biggest, I believe. Yeah.
Have you ever
So,
competed?
yeah, a little bit, but that's I'm not too much into that. But I did a few competitions. So, but I would love to call out Gillespie because he calls himself the best fisherman in MMA, and I can assure you he's not. So I'm ready for a fish off whenever he wants to.
Oh my gosh, this is true. This, I got to be honest. This excites me way more than you fighting Whittaker or Till. You versus Gregor Gillespie in a fish off. This is something they need to put on ESPN Plus. We should charge for something like this. I would
oh
be
yeah,
very
yeah.
interested.
Imagine the pay-per-views, man.
Yes, tremendous. Okay, last question. Best place in the world to fish that you've been to?
Oh man, I only fish here in Scandinavia, and the fishing here is just great. So I can recommend everybody that likes to fish to come to Norway, Sweden, and do
Oh,
fishing here. There is loads of good fishing here, and it's so close by. You know, even that I live in the capital of Norway, it's just like 15 minutes in a car, and you're in the woods fishing. So it's great.
wow. By the way, does it not get dark there in the summertime?
No, not much. You know, if you get even further north in Norway, it's even lighter, but uh, it doesn't get very dark. No.
That's amazing. So you could go fish at like 11 p.m. or something.
Yeah. I fish through the night.
Ah, what a life over there in
Yeah.
Scandinavia.
But
No wonder
the winter though,
the winter pretty depressing. Gets dark at like 2 p.m. I was gonna say, no wonder you're always smiling over there. It's so great. You're such a nice guy, Jack. It's amazing
sure.
because they call you the Joker, and the Joker, there's a negative connotation to the Joker, right? He was an evil villain, but you're like the good guy version of the Joker. It's a great thing.
Yeah, exactly. I just bring the smile and not the rest of the character.
That's right. Well, congrats on the win. Very, very impressive performance. Great to see you back on track and looking forward to what's next for you. Thank you for the time as always.
Thank you so much, Ariel. I appreciate it.
ESPN on YouTube for live streaming sports and premium content. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.